This is a quick video explaining how to calculate conversion rate for a simple segmentation using Motif. We're working with the Motiflix dataset, which mimics the kind of events you might see with a video streaming service. We're picking up at a point where we were at in the duration video. If you haven't watched that, it's a great introduction to things like sessionization and basic matches. So we already have a case where we're matching on search page, going to anything in between or nothing, and then followed by watch start. The conversion we want to see today is the conversion to watch start, and we want to know how the search page affects that. So the first thing we're going to do is make search page optional. So we add a question mark, and now we are also including the cases where search page doesn't exist. We also want to make watch start optional, because we want to know the cases where someone did a search and they never ended up watching anything. Okay, so both of those are optional now. When everything's optional like it is here, I like to add an anchor. So I'm going to put start, followed by anything or nothing, followed by the search page. And what this does is basically make sure I'm including every sequence, because every sequence has a start. And then I've made search page optional and watch start optional. If I go over to the outcome tab, watch start is my outcome. I'm looking for the cases that begin with start and end up on watch start. Because it's optional, I'm now seeing 70% of people do get to watch start and 30% of people don't get to watch start. And then I can see some duration here about how long it takes people to get there. But what I want to do is split this up by people that went to search or people that didn't. So I'm going to jump over to the plot tab. And then there's a nice quick way to get to conversion rate here, which is to pick the outcome, whether or not it exists, as your dimension. So when watch start exists, that's a 1. When it doesn't, that's a 0. So if we just take the mean of that, I'll hit aggregate and then mean, we have our conversion rate. So here is that 70% we saw on the outcome screen. And now we want to divide this up by whether or not someone went to the search page. Well, I can just pick as the x-axis whether or not search page exists. So for users that went to the search page, the conversion rate is 63%, and for the users that didn't, it's almost 86%. So we can see it's actually a lot stronger among the people that didn't go to search. Now, while this was fast, it's not very pretty to separate search page like this with 0 or 1 and just existing. So we're going to actually add a convenience value here. So I'm going to set a variable or a dimension on our sequence called hasSearched. And I'm going to use the if function. And if I just put if search page, I'm basically saying does search page exist? I can set a value to it when it's true. And so that will be that the user did search. And then the second value is if it's false. And I can say did not search. Okay. Now, because I'm in a view and not in my examples, this query isn't running automatically, so I need to tell it to run. And then over on the x-axis, I can switch to using this new value, hasSearched. And now we'll see that we have nicer labels here. Did not search has an 85% conversion rate, and did search has a 63% conversion rate. Great, so we learned how to use the optional flag of the question mark to include things in our data set that may or may not have happened. We learned how to use the exists convenience here as a way to plot these values. And then we learned how to set a sequence dimension based on this result and how to plot something based on that sequence dimension. I hope that helps.